And let's roll out, roll out, roll out, roll out, let's roll out.
Sweetness. Bam, we live. Yeah, reporting live from the scene. Nah, I'm just playing. All right, let's get right into it. No playing games today. What up, y'all? Y'all know what it is. What is it? It's food, fitness, and fun. And I'm here with my main man, DRE.
What's really good, Sensei Dre, Sensei of Fitness. Let's get it in.
Let's get it in. By the way, I wanted to wait till we were on camera to say this, but I'm loving your shirt, man.
Ah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
If I knew you was going to do that, I'd have threw my Kamoyo beads on. You know what I'm saying? Got my
I feel
Kamoyo
you,
beads
son.
in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, bro, it's Black Mystery Month. You know what I mean? Celebrating all the black.
Look at my lovely
mysteries.
assistant. Look how my lovely assistant get busy. I got a pod when she's here more often. She like, hey, listen, I got you, player. These mine or yours. All right, we switch it later. Don't worry. Look at
But
that.
she's like, you know what?
She's like, I heard you, Dad.
You need it right now.
said-
You need it more than me.
She's like, it's just sitting on display in my room. Here, take mine for a minute, Dad.
Right.
Hold that.
You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
Rock it.
You know what I'm saying? My lovely
Yeah.
assistant. You know what I'm saying? Baby girl said, I got your back, Dad.
Let's do it.
And so, yeah, who am I? I'm JD, aka He Who Pods. That's me. Yeah, I know. The guy you see every time you open the app. You know what I'm saying? All right, Jay, you jamming out over there?
I'm
son?
like, yeah, I'm wait for you. You know, you might drop a bar or something. You know?
Nah, no
Like,
bars.
oh,
Definitely
you
no
know
bars.
it's me. The guy time you open the app, it's like that.
Nah,
JD up on the map.
You know what I'm saying? You had a daiquiri, Dre?
Nah, but I am on fumes. Just to say, I went out. Here in New Orleans, we got these balls. You ever been to a ball before?
No.
Son, oh my God. So
You gotta put me on, son. You gotta take me to a ball.
So it's like
I'll wear my best dress.
Yeah, so you gotta do that, first of all.
Right.
I know we kind of going off topic.
It's all good. This is part of podcasting.
It's like first of all, you gotta dress up like tux with a bean pie shirt and tie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Bean pie shirt and tie. You the one rapping today.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
I didn't even know Dre got bars.
And yeah, it gotta be like on point. Now you could play around with it, whatever.
Sure.
You know, since I'm talking about it, I'll throw some pictures up of how I looked.
Yeah. Super fly
yesterday.
Dre. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this thing goes on. It's like a concert where you have your own table, your own drinks, your people. The one I'm talking about is really famous in New Orleans, called the Zulu Ball.
Okay.
Like mad black people go there.
Nice.
And it was my first time going.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah, it's my first time going to a ball. First time going to this one. It's like one of those things. It's kind of like on my bucket list. Like, man, I always wanted to go, but it's super expensive. So it's like tickets, $150.
Right.
You want a table, $150. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, I won't be.
You
going
want
to
daiquiris at your table? Another $150.
Go through. Right. So, my boy, you know, I'm like, yo, this dude is like the mayor. He knows so many people. He calls me up last minute. He's last minute Larry. Always call me up last minute. Like, it'd be fly events, but son, you gotta drop everything. And go. Like, word.
That's how it goes.
So yeah, so he called me up last minute. Son, I got Zulu Ball tickets. Wow.
Right.
You have a black suit? No, because I don't really wear suits anymore.
Right.
I know you remember when I used to wear suits
course.
and stuff. I'm like, I haven't worn a suit in like 12 years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It just hasn't called for it.
It's not. My whole lifestyle is like athletic, martial arts.
Right.
You know, jeans, t-shirts type of dude.
Right.
That's like my whole joint. So even the suits I have, it's just like maybe a sports coat. So I'll rock a sports coat with jeans, but I ain't got a full suit.
Right.
So I'm like, dang, I ain't got a full suit, man. So I had to go, get on the app. You know how we do.
Right.
I found a little tuxedo on sale at Macy's. So I said, well, let me buy a tuxedo. So now that if this ever happens again,
you got one.
I'm ready.
Or if you decide to get married tomorrow.
You never know, right? You never know. I might meet that special one.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You might meet your person.
You could be listening. Right. You know what I'm saying?
They might be listening.
Meet my destiny.
You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, yeah, man. So yeah, I copped this on sale tuxedo from Macy's. It was cool, whatever.
Mhm.
And here's a little workout thing. So I'm trying to like button up. So I'm going by measurements, son, of like 10 years ago.
That's
right?
over,
So I'm
kid.
putting all that thing.
And
I'm
that's
putting on
over.
all my measure of 10 years ago. I'm trying to button up. My neck is like, son, do you know how big you are right now? Like, no, you're not the same dude. Sorry.
That's
So I
over,
couldn't
son.
even button it up. I had to wear the shirt out, tie kind of just like around, whatever. But I made it look dope. Anyway, yeah, son,
Cause
this
you too
thing
fly
goes
now.
on. Son, it's just the problem when
Now,
if you make
now
a
you the
decision to say,
sensei of
hey,
fitness.
you know what I mean? I wasn't that 10 years ago, I wasn't that dude. Now
10
I'm like,
years ago,
and
you
then-
was just Sensei Dre.
and now, my goals is to get even like bigger. So I mean,
Right.
not to say that I want to get super big, but I like bodybuilding. I like fucking
You
strength
trying to
training.
be the, you trying to be the Thanos of New Orleans. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I'm just like, I have fun in that damn gym, man. I
know.
miss it right now. So
I
anyway,
bet.
this thing goes on. It start like he was like, yo, we're gonna be ready 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
That's bedtime.
I'm on some old man shit, like 10 o'clock.
I know you. I know your style. I'm not
I'll
gonna tell a pod, but I know
You know what I
exactly
mean?
what time it is
You know
at
what I
10
mean?
o'clock.
I don't start no party at 10. I start wrapping it up about 10.
Right.
He's like, yeah, we're gonna get there at 10.
Right. You're looking at the door at
Son,
10 o'clock.
Son, the whole world is trying to get out there. There's no fucking parking. It's
course not.
crazy. We
Right.
finally get a parking spot. We get there at like 11.
Yeah.
11:30.
I mean, that's when parties
It's
start, Dre.
mad crowded. It's mad. Yo, it's like, imagine a Beyonce concert, but everybody got their own tables.
Gangster.
You know what I mean? That's how crazy it is. It's like, yo, and you see everybody in there. Like, there's so-and-so. But the one thing I will say, because it's like 99% black people, son. I mean, all these black people, thousands. It was all love.
Nice.
There wasn't one fight.
That's
There
a beautiful
wasn't
thing.
one like, I'm going to hurt somebody. It was all like, people were looking good. People were feeling good about themselves.
Plus, nobody want to
Ladies,
get blood on
brothers.
the tux.
Yeah, right. No, everybody had their best on.
Yeah.
Cass was looking like, Easter Sunday out there. Man.
Right. What
Everybody
you gonna do? You
looking
gonna
fresh
fight
to
me?
death.
You gonna fight me, and we gonna get blood on your lady's gown.
It wasn't even none of that. Right. It was
Come
so
on,
many
that's-
beautiful women out there. Everybody looking good. Man, I had a great time.
Nice.
But man, they ain't finished
you
until
got
like
home
4
10
o'clock
minutes
in the
ago.
morning.
Right.
4 o'clock in the morning, son.
Yeah, that's called the
known
party,
me for a
Dre.
long time. When was the last time I've been out till 4 in the morning? I don't do that, man. My body was like, "Are you crazy?" I was yawning the whole time. I'm like, "Oh,
Of
this is hot."
course.
Right. It was crazy.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm on like fumes, man. I woke up this morning. I knew I had to do this. I still had other things I had to do.
Right.
So, my energy right now is just like caffeine, candy, and chicken.
All right. The 3 C's.
The 3 C's, bro.
That might be the name
I
of the
was like, yo, I
episode,
need
kid.
something.
The 3 C's.
Yeah. So I was like, yo, man, I have to get a piece of this, So as soon as it's over, I'll probably crash.
Right.
But it's all good.
Well, you know my style.
yeah.
I slept 20. I've been up just coming up on 24 hours.
Yeah.
So I've got my
Yeah.
latte.
Starbucks?
No, you
No.
know what America runs on, baby.
America runs on Dunkin'. That's
You know
your
what I'm saying?
favorite place in the world.
That's it. I wish they would give me a
You know?
sponsor because, man, I be sipping caffeine or I be sipping Dunkin'
Yo,
Donuts
all you
on
got-
every pod. No matter what pod I'm on, you see me
Are you
just.
ready to... Yo, are you ready to go back to the Oreo blast?
Let me tell you something, man. I'm gonna make this
Uh-oh.
Usher confession right now. Sometimes on weekends when I have my daughter and no sleep for 3 days or close to 3 days, I gotta get an Oreo blast sometimes, son. I have no choice.
So you've been Oreo blasting since 16 years old, man.
Nah, you wild out, but not that much. You ain't that far off, but not 16.
Bro, 17?
I think it was like 20.
Because
Because
you
remember,
was a teenager when you started.
it's possible, but remember,
Yeah.
I was already a teacher
Or maybe
at summer camp.
Or maybe or maybe 19. You
Yeah,
know,
it was
we
like
can
it
meet
was
in the
something
middle.
like that. Yeah, we could meet in the middle,
Yeah, we can meet in
19.
the middle. We can
But
meet near
I don't
COVID
really do
19.
them
I
now.
knew a
Like
teen.
now,
I knew a teen was in your because you used to wild out with you be like, yo, son, I was tired. You know what I had to do.
right? It would be just like, all right, y'all know what time it is. I
Right.
got,
And
got,
that
got, got.
yeah, that give you that 8 hours. You just be like,
Yo,
yo,
let me
we
tell you something.
good.
This is not an ad. Baskin Robbins did not pay us, but the Oreo Blast is the only drink I know that will give you 8 hours at minimum. You might
Yo,
get
it's like
longer out of that. It depends what you're doing.
son, that high sugar and high caffeine, that's gonna give you whatever you
Well,
need.
because it's crack
That's
cocaine in a cup.
son, that was the pre-workout before pre-workout.
You ain't never lied. That was the pre-workout, the post-workout. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I never did was drink it while working out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You don't do that. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful to the blast. You can't.
Yeah,
do
no,
that.
you gotta
You know
really
what I mean?
indulge in the blast. And you gotta put food in your
Right.
stomach. That's the thing I
Oh,
tell
yeah.
anybody who sees me and is like, oh, what's that? I want to try that. I'm like, all right, try it if you want, but you better have a bagel or something because
Right.
if you just put an Oreo blast in an empty stomach, you're gonna blast.
Oh, you're gonna blast everything.
You're gonna blast everywhere. Clean up on aisle 5.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
Clean up on aisle 5.
Exactly.
But yeah, nah.
But
So
yeah,
I really don't like doing them though. I really don't because I know.
Nah, I know. Seldom.
It's the worst of the worst. Like it's
Yeah, you
ice
grew
cream,
up.
cappuccino, and whipped cream and Oreos. Like son.
Yeah. So it's called.
And
growing
I'll
up.
be honest, if I'm gonna have ice cream and Oreos, I'd rather have like an actual sundae and enjoy it. I don't want to just drink it to stay awake. But there's sometimes like, yo, I'd be dead. Like on a Sunday morning when I've been up since like 3 p.m. on Friday. I'm like, son, I hate myself for this, but the only way I'm gonna last until 9 p.m. Sunday night is to blast myself.
Yeah, you do it seldomly. It's like, the military only uses special forces for special operations. You don't use special forces every day.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Every now and then,
back when I weighed 350.
Well, that was the problem. That's why you was right. You was using special forces every day. You're like, yo.
I was like, what happened? Somebody farted. Send the Marines. Send the Marines for passing gas. How dare they pass gas on our borders? Send the
Delta
Marines.
Force every day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, son, really? You
was
gonna
wildin',
special unit
Black Ops for no reason,
shit?
son.
For no reason.
I was like, what is that? A spy balloon? All right, send them.
Everything is a nuclear missile.
Everything. You know what I'm saying? Oppenheimer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Project Manhattan. All right, let's pause.
You know what I mean? But
we done gave them 30 minutes of kicking it. Like,
I know. We got shorten it up. So
it's fine. It's fine. Sometimes that's how pods go. You know what I mean? You gotta let them flow.
Just gotta let it flow. So here is my food
sponsored
choice. You thought it could have easily been whatever we was talking about in Dunkin' Donuts, but no, it's not that. This is something.
Then they really got
this is
pay us.
I spoke of this before. It's something called the trifecta.
Okay.
Right? It's a menu item.
Okay.
But it's basically eggs Benedict. Remember I spoke about eggs Benedict.
Oh, yep.
But this is eggs
Last
Benedict.
time it was the salmon eggs Benedict.
Uh-huh. I'm glad you mentioned it. So you got a good memory.
I got your back, Jack.
So this one is shrimp eggs Benedict. Right next to it, chicken eggs Benedict, and then a pork eggs Benedict.
Say, I know the last one is pork.
Yeah, you'll see in the picture the three. They like lined up.
Nice.
So it's called, the pork is called eggs Couchon. It's French, you know.
Of course.
Chicken, they call it the St. Charles, and then Bayou shrimp. And it's all these three different eggs Benedicts.
So which one was your favorite?
That's a good question, man, because they all tasted so good. Because it's just poached eggs, right? You just got to poach the eggs a certain way. But I like that. I like that little runny egg. I'm a big egg dude. If I try to have eggs almost every day.
I know.
Loaded with protein.
Sometimes
But
in your oatmeal.
oh yeah, oatmeal.
Because
Yeah.
you know the internet hated you when you did that one, son.
Oh man, I heard
Our
that was
followers were
dashing.
like, son, why is there an egg in the oatmeal?
Yo, I heard that was Dashing D's favorite. Is putting the egg in the oatmeal. We're gonna have to shout her out.
You just did. You just did.
Be
And
like,
she's
yo.
gonna message you now. Watch. She's
Like,
gonna be right in the comments like, no, Dre. No, it's not.
Dashing D loves eggs and oatmeal. It's her favorite of favorites. But no, I know it's not. But yeah,
That's mad funny.
but yeah,
That made
man.
me
So
think
which
of-
one
that
was
made
my
me think of
favorite?
Boondocks. He said that's funny on so many levels.
But yeah, it wasn't that one was my favorite. What was so good is that you had these different flavors, So you
Yeah.
had one was like more salty.
And I would
like
imagine the textures too, right?
Yes, exactly. The texture's like very different. So you're sitting there and you're eating it. It's like you're getting this different experience each time. And so it was
That's
hard for
super
me to
fly.
say this one is the favorite. It's just like this is just like really loaded with protein. To brunch. So it was I used it as breakfast because I didn't have anything before.
That's
And
brunch.
yeah, so it was just like, man, this is like awesome. I just loved the different flavors. So if you ever want to try eggs Benedict, if you go to a place that does brunch, see if they can give you something like this where you have these 3 different meats if you're the carnivore type, like myself.
Right.
So
Yeah, if
each
you
one is
out
gonna
there
give you-
hunting your food.
Right. If you're out there just killing everything, go for it. But nah, seriously, it's like, yo, it's very different. That shrimp, has that different texture. The chicken, we all used to, chicken flavors. Like that's just kind of just like I wouldn't
Chicken
say
tastes like
mundane,
everything.
but yeah, it's just like okay, it tastes comforting. It's a very
Right.
comfort flavor. And pork is just like, oh wow, like really salty.
How did they do the
and
pork though?
seasoned.
Because you could do pork a lot of ways.
So they season it. It's baked kind of. Yeah, it's like a
Okay.
baked sort of pork. It's not fried.
Okay.
And it's not like bacon.
But was it
or
like a
whatever. It's
pulled
just like-
pork?
yes, exactly,
Okay.
like a pulled.
That's what I
pork.
thought.
Yeah, pulled
it.
pork and just seasoned up. It's actually excellent. So yeah, take a look at that picture. Man, it was actually really.
Yeah, we'll
really
throw it up
dope.
on the screen. Y'all know how we do.
Yeah. And
Sweet.
this place called the Ruby Slipper. So if you're ever in town, check out the Ruby Slipper. It's a very famous brunch spot. One of those brunch all day.
We giving away all
type
the free ads this pod.
Yeah, man, why not? Enjoy your life. You only get one of those mofos.
Free ads. That's what we giving out this pod. Free ads for everybody.
it's
Who else
for
got an ad?
All the tens of people who are listening. Don't worry about it. I'm hooking y'all up.
Yo, you stupid for that. He said the tens and tens of people who listen to our pod. Yo, you stupid. That was good. But we love all 10 of y'all. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Exactly. I appreciate your time.
Anyway, facts. All right, so we're going to talk about something that we wanted to discuss for a while now, but we keep getting these other topics that kind of grab our attention, and we keep pushing it to the side. And so finally, we're going to talk about heart rates and heart rate zones. And so, heart rate is pretty simple to define. Everybody knows the rate your heart is beating when doing an exercise is often something that we track. If you're doing cardio, that's something that you want to look at. A lot of people look at that when they're doing cardio to kind of measure where they're at for their age group, or sometimes people do it compared to other runners or swimmers or whatever group of people that do the same exercise. Mostly when I see heart rate stuff, it's about age groups though.
Yep.
Mostly when I see it, it's about age groups. So you see like, people 35 to 39, this is the range you should be in. And I remember way back, it used to be on the elliptical machines.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The older machines.
So when I first started doing
years
elliptical,
ago. Yeah.
well, for me, it was like 10 years ago because my
Yeah.
anniversary is actually, my fitness anniversary is actually like next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember when I first started doing elliptical, it had like this little strip on the side,
Hmm.
and that's exactly what it would say. So it was like 18 to this age, every couple years it would have a breakdown of like where your ideal heart rate should be when doing this exercise. And
Right.
that's when we was wilding the curse word out. And
Yeah.
our joint was like, oh, Jay, your age should be 150. And I was like, 189.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Dre was like, 200 though, son.
Right.
200. So
Yeah. Yeah.
go ahead, Dre, take it away.
So yeah, so you're right. So the heart rate, um, it's coming back in style a little bit now, but a little bit
Yeah.
different. So you're right. Traditionally, it started like in the 90s where you would take your age and say, okay, because you're this age, the heart rate zone for you is between this and this. So let's say it says, okay, well, you're 35, then
Right.
the heart rate zone you want to stay in is, let's say, 120 to 130. And you don't want to go
Right.
below that. You don't want to go above
Or
that. You
above,
want to
right.
stay
That's the
in
sweet
120.
spot.
And so that's the sweet spot for you. And basically saying, well, what do you mean by sweet spot? So sweet spot would meaning like you're going to burn the most fat within this zone. Like
Right.
it's not going to be too hard on your heart. So let me back up a little bit. So now we look at things like HIIT, right? High intensity interval training. And so when you have a high intensity cardio workout, you're burning more glycogen than fat.
Right.
Let's go reverse. If you have a low intensity workout, even though you're not burning as much calories, the calories that you do burn, most of that is fat and very little of it is glycogen. And
Right.
the glycogen is where it's what's in your muscles. It's the
Right.
little power in your muscles to keep your muscles going, give your muscles
Right.
that oomph. So if you're saying, well, I'm working out doing cardio because I want to burn fat, then we want to say, well, what exercises, and we've talked about this before, what exercises are going to help us burn the most fat and the most calories? And so you kind of want to be somewhere in the middle. And so
Right.
that's why they came up with the heart rate zone. It's like, hey, for you to burn the optimal fat and the optimal calories, stay in this zone.
Right.
And that's what people did. And you're right. You and I would blow past that. I didn't pay that shit any mind.
Me either.
Whatever. Right?
Right.
We just like did what we did, looked at our heart rate, and was like, oh, way above. So like you said,
Right.
if I'm in the 200s, well, that's for somebody that's like 18, 19 years old. You know what I mean? Like way up there like
In
that.
fact, I'll be
You know what I mean?
honest, I never even saw 200 on that paper. I think the highest I
Yeah.
ever saw was like 180. And 180
Yeah,
was
because that's
like
way too high.
just starting for us. Like,
Yeah, exactly. But it's come back again,
yeah.
because everything kind of goes 360, right? It's like people are
That's right.
rethinking this whole heart rate zone thing, and it's less about, okay, this is your age and you stay in here. It's more
Right.
about what's your goal and try to stay in here, right?
Yes.
So I'll use myself as an example. It's like, well, I'm trying to put on muscle, so a HIIT sort of workout isn't the best for me. Why is it not the best for me? Because that's going to cause more stress. More stress causes more cortisol, the hormone, and that is counterproductive to building muscle.
Right.
It's a very hectic environment for your body when you have a large amount of cortisol. It actually stops the protein synthesis process from going. So I don't want to do high intensity workouts, even though I do enjoy cardio. So for somebody like me, when I'm doing my workout, I want to stay in a particular zone.
Right.
And let me just, if it didn't go away, go into what these zones are. So zone 1 is 130 beats per minute or less.
Okay.
So that's like, hey, you're going for a walk, you're chilling,
Right.
your heart rate might go to 120, 125,
Right.
maybe a
It's like a
light
brisk
bike
walk.
ride or something.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. You might do a little speed walking, whatever.
Right.
About 130 or less, that's what we call zone one, right? So we're not doing it by age anymore. We're just saying this is where you are. You're doing heart rate zone one training.
Right.
And if that's what you want, stay in that zone.
Right.
Um, Me, I like to be in zone two most of the time. And so zone two, as we always say, that's uh not high, not low, but like sort of medium intensity, right? I like to be at that medium intensity. And that's 142 beats per minute down to 131. So anywhere between 131 and 142 beats per minute is zone 2 training.
Okay.
And for me, that's pretty good. So I'm like burning some good fat, burning some good calories,
Right.
but not taking it so much where it is super duper hard on my heart, super duper hard on my body. My cortisol levels are not going that high up because it's not that stressful,
Right.
right? It's like if you're in a marathon, if you're being chased by a fucking pit bull,
Right.
your cortisol is like mad high because I got to get away,
Right.
and you can't do that for too long anyway.
Right.
Um, Zone 3 would be 143 beats per minute to 153. So some people like to be in zone 3. I'll be in zone 3 a little bit. I kind of touch on zone 3.
Okay.
Zone 2 is my sweet spot, but if I go into zone 3, I'm not mad at myself. I don't stay there. So one of my workouts, you'll see, let's say I rode my bike for an hour. 40 of those minutes will be zone 2. But let's say I got this crazy hill that I have to go up.
Right.
And going up that hill is about 30 seconds to a minute. And through my ride, I got a few of these hills. So I might spend 5 to 10 minutes in zone 3 because I had hills that I had to conquer. Right? So my heart rate had to go up for a second. So I'm not staying in zone 3. I visit it for a minute and I get out.
Gotcha.
Right. I hardly ever go into zone 4, which is 154 to 168. That's just getting really high up there, right? That's like you're in zone 4. This is more, now we're really calling this like high intensity training. Like you stay in that zone, you just doing high intensity. Like that's what you want to do. And then 160, 166 and above, that's zone 5. Anything above that, you're doing high intensity.
Right.
So if you think back to 10 years ago when we was doing that shit, we pretty much stayed in a high zone.
Yes.
And that's why you say today and I say to do, it's like, oh no, I'm not going back there. Right. Not that it wasn't fun and that we enjoy it, not that you shouldn't do it. It's just that my goals are different. Right. Back then it was really trying to get my heart to go really high, try to get my heart to be like super duper strong. I wasn't really concerned about putting on muscle. Right. Honestly, it's just like, yo, I just want to go like crazy fast and see what I can do. Right. So this is what like a sprinter would be doing. Yes. Somebody that is a runner or something like that's they want to stay in that zone 5. Right. If you play football and you get the ball, you got to go. You want to be in zone 5. The moment you take off, I'm out. Right. Right. So it's not a bad thing to be. You just got to know what your goals are and use those zones accordingly. Right. And notice I didn't say if you're this age, you're that age. Like now they've taken the age thing out of it because you realize that's kind of irrelevant. You could be 19 years old and stay in zone 1 and 2 because of your goals. It's for someone to be like, oh, what? You're 35? Okay, you have to stay here. Right. That was dumb. That wasn't the right way to look at it. Now people are looking at the zones as saying, hey, let's say what your cardio goals is and let's stay in here. So if I get a client and I talk to one of my clients and they're like, oh, I want to do this and that, then I might use the zone. Especially now we have these watches. They tell us what our the trackers, right? And they tell us what our beats per minute are. So if I'm doing something, let's say I'm doing like an indoor uh, treadmill, elliptical, or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
I could actually say, oh man, look at my heart rate. I'm going in too much. Let me
Right.
slow it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Or you know what? I'm moseying too much. Let me pump up the jam a little bit and stay in this zone because that's what's going to help me.
Right.
So this is why I wanted to bring it up because I think that it's a really important tool for people who, we're moving into the springtime
Yeah.
very soon and people want to start cutting it up. And I think this is a very useful tool,
Yes.
for the 10 people who are listening that might want to hear
Come on, stop saying that, man.
messing around. But no, seriously, I think it's a really good tool to say, okay, I have this because we didn't have these things before. The machine would just tell us, right?
Yeah.
So now we have these things, and you can sometimes confirm with the machine. Like the machine might be 5 or 10 beats per minute off, but it's about the same. We always say it's an average. These are not accurate things. And so
Correct.
if your machine is telling you one thing, and your watch or your tracker is telling you something, then you can be able to say, okay, wait a minute. And you're feeling your heart. You're like, yo, I think I'm going in too much. Let me bring it down, especially if I want to do this for an hour. I
Right.
want to do this for 45 minutes.
Yes.
So you don't quit within 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
Bring the heart rate down, stay in the zone that you chose, and rock out. And you'll feel much better rather than just like, I'm going to go all out or not really knowing what you're doing. And I think you'll have better results. I know for me personally, when I say to myself, I need to stay in this particular zone, and I give myself a little leeway, like I said, hey, I might visit zone 3 because I love to go, cycling, and it might be these hills. But I'm only visiting for a little minute, come right back to my zone 2. Zone 1 is okay, but when if I find myself in zone 1, I pick up the pace a little. I try to like, let me put a little bit of pepper into my step.
Right.
Because I really want to stay in that zone 2 for me.
Right.
So yeah, that's all I really wanted to say about the heart rate zones, and maybe people can use that.
No, that was great. And it's interesting because I didn't know about the zones. I've heard it, I've been watching a lot of stuff about David Goggins lately. I was doing a lot of running at the end of last year. I'm getting back into that running now. And I hear a lot of talk about zones, but I'll be honest, I didn't know about it. Now, obviously, I heard the heart rate part and was like, oh, okay, it's got something to do with the heart rate. And I just didn't research it because I don't really care about heart rate. So I am more focused. My goals are more on, I don't want to say benchmarks, but kind of benchmarks. Like if I'm on the elliptical, I know I'm aiming for a certain time. Right. So it's like I'm doing the 3-1. We've spoke about it here mad times. So I'm doing my 3-1 and I'm aiming for whatever, 30 or 40 or 45 minutes. My goal is like, yo, lock in and just finish these 40 minutes, right? And with the running, it's kind of similar. I was following like this training program I found online. You know this, but the listeners may not. I was following this training program and it has these set times or mileage. So I was less concerned with the heart rate and more concerned with, oh, today it says run 4 miles. Today it says run for an hour. Whatever it was that was the assignment on the calendar. And then I just look and like a lot of times you would be like, son, you going way too fast. Like, why is your heart rate 175 when you're jogging? I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just doing it. And it's interesting because I know you want to say something. Just give me 1 second. I saw you.
No. Take your time. Take your time.
I was listening to something recently from David Goggins. He just did a promo run for his second book. And I want to say it was on the Joe Rogan podcast, but I'm not 100% sure because I OD'd and watched like 4 things back to back that he was on. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it was Joe Rogan. He asked him about his jogging, what he still does today. and he was saying like, yeah, he still jogs, and he was talking about how much. And so when he was talking about the amount of time that he jogs and the mileage he does, that's what Joe Rogan asked him. He asked him, oh, is that zone, what zone is that? And Goggins said, I mostly stay in zone 2.
Mm,
Yeah.
I dig it. I dig it. Yeah, so a lot of times, you know, people are getting older or things happen, and your heart, like anything else, is another muscle. And I mean, you put too much stress on it,
Mhm.
you can have complications, and so
Yep.
um there's something in the
Excuse
hospital.
me.
They don't do it too often, but sometimes they do. They do a stress test
Yep.
for your heart.
Yep.
And if they do this stress test on your heart, they can see like, yo, could you be like a candidate for a heart attack because of how hard it is, for your heart to do particular things. And if
Right.
somebody is, let's say, an athlete, they do CrossFit or
CrossFit.
something
Hmm.
like that. Yeah, and they're doing like a bunch of things. They're You see it a lot of times with people who do triathlons, like, oh man, I'm gonna run, then get on the bike, and then I'm gonna
Right.
swim,
I got to swim at
and
the end. Right.
yeah, and then it's like, yo, like you putting your heart through a lot, you know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
so, with that being said, and you if you're saying, well, I'm trying to do this thing for longevity, not necessarily to win a race or something like that, then you have to be a little bit smarter. And so when
Right.
I hear him say, or what you just said, like for him to be like, nah, I'm gonna try to stay in that too, the same way I'm thinking, it's like, yeah, that's a good place for me. Like, I don't want to stress my heart too much. I don't want my cortisol
Right.
levels going way too high. This is a good place for me right now. 10, 20 years from
Right.
now, who knows where I might have to go. But for right now, zone 2 is a good place because I'm getting, like I said, burning calories at this level and burning fat at this level. That's where I want to do. I
Right.
don't want to upset my body. I want my body to be like, oh, okay, that was cool, and then we could do other things throughout the day. Whereas, if you're in zone 5,
Right.
yo, that's the day. You need most of that
Right.
day to recover. Your body has to recover, and so
Yeah.
you're just like dead after that.
Yeah. And
So
it's
yeah,
interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. It's interesting because when I heard him say that, I thought back to a conversation we had here where me and you were talking, and you were saying like, we were talking about elliptical, and you were saying like, today to do an hour is nothing on the elliptical for you. Your heart and body are used to it, so your heart rate doesn't even go that high.
Right.
And it made me think of that conversation because I'm like, how the hell? Because he was saying he's basically doing like 10 minutes a mile and even like 8 minutes a mile. And I'm like, how is he in zone 2? Because as you were breaking down the zones, that's what I'm thinking as you're saying it. And I'm like, how is he in zone 2 and doing 8 minutes a mile? That's mad fast, especially when you're doing 12 miles. Like Goggins doesn't run 2 miles. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. It made me think back to our conversation because he runs 12 miles every day. So
Right.
that's like drinking a cup of water. Like that's not stressful for his body.
Right. Yeah.
So it makes
Yep.
like now I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's how he's staying in zone 2 because he does this so often that his body's just like, oh, 12 miles? Okay, I got you.
Yeah, you become more efficient. For me to get on the elliptical and try to do the numbers that we did back in the day, yeah, like you said, it's hard for me. Like before, when I first started on the elliptical and do an hour, I could easily go to 180 because my body's like, what in the hell is this? Right.
Right.
But I've been doing it for so long, it's gotten used to it. So your heart
Right.
becomes more efficient at burning this fat. Your body does
Right.
not want to burn off all its fat. It just doesn't. It's
Mm-mm.
like, yo, I need some of this, right? So
Right.
it's going to learn to become more efficient, use a lot more of the muscles to get the work that you want done. So
Right.
yeah, if you shouldn't be at the same level. This is why I'm always talking about changing it, to get
Mm-hmm.
the results that you want, you know. So
Yes.
absolutely, yeah. So like right now, if I go on the elliptical and do an hour at those same settings, it's like, oh yeah, like, 135, 150. It's
Yep.
not, but it's good. But I like that. I like that. That's what it is. And I don't really try to turn it up too much because for me, this is where I want to go. But
Right.
if for some weird reason I feel like, oh man, I really want to see what my heart can do, I would have to like really jack the incline up or something, or go
Right.
much faster or something like that, uh,
Yep.
to get that effect. But
Definitely.
I'm at the place right now where it's like that could be heart attack land, and I don't want to get
Right.
on
And then yeah, it doesn't
that
make
land.
sense.
Yeah.
I dig that. I want to pause for a moment. All right, we back. Had to take a short break, and we're Bizak. All right, so I mean, I think that was good for heart rates. I think we dove in deep enough. Um, yeah, I mean, I already gave my opinion. It's something that's interesting and new for me. I don't really aim for it, but it is always interesting. It always makes me laugh when I send you stats and you like, son, but your heart rate is crazy right now. But I guess as I become more consistent, that will change because it will be less challenging on my body. Um, but time will tell. So our fun topic, even though we kind of started off having fun this pod, but our fun topic, the one we aimed to do, is kind of a little different. So we wanted to just show some love to Bruce Willis. He's an actor who's done a lot of great roles over the years, tons of great films, and his film career is over as he begins a new health journey. Uh, you know, it's not really begins. He kind of said he was taking a break a while ago because he was having some issues, and so further testing and further diagnosis finds out that he has a lot more issues than originally um, diagnosed. And so he has like a sped up version of dementia. It's frontal lobe something. I can't remember the exact thing. Um, but memory issues and other things. It's part of the dementia family. It's really sad. And we don't normally talk about stuff like that, but we're big movie guys here. And if you listen to this pod, you know that because we're always quoting movies and talking about movies. And so Bruce Willis is the man. So we wanted to show him some love and share some fun moments, maybe from Bruce Willis. So one thing that I love the internet. I'm gonna bring the meme. I'm gonna make this a little meta. There's a meme that's been on the internet for years and years, and I see it of the same meme of two people. It's Morgan Freeman and Bruce Willis, and it's always like Bruce Willis was 80 when he started acting. Morgan Freeman was 80 when he started acting. And it always makes me laugh because it's like, son, but it's true. Like these dudes were not 17 or 7. Like we see people like a Christian Bale, for example, who he's still here, but I mean, he started out as a kid, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
Bruce Willis was like, nah. And Bruce Willis never looked like a kid, you know what I mean? Like, always
Right.
looked like, oh yeah, this is someone's pops. Like, this is a seasoned guy
Yeah.
here.
Grown ass
That's
man.
that's a
Yeah.
grown man,
Grown ass
right?
man.
So
Yeah.
I think about that meme a lot. They do the same thing with Morgan Freeman, where they're like, "Yeah, Morgan Freeman been acting since he was 80." It's like Morgan Freeman been around for mad years, but they feel the
Right.
same way. It's like he wasn't no child actor. That man was grown when he started acting. So that's one of my
Yeah.
favorite memes uh, of Bruce Willis. Um, Let me see a favorite funny moment, maybe. I mean, he has a lot of good moments in Die Hard that are funny. I never really went to Bruce Willis for funny. He's an action dude, and so I liked a lot of his action stuff. To be honest, I never even watched Die Hard until like 3 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
number two is definitely my favorite. Excuse me. Number
Yeah.
two is definitely my favorite. Him and Samuel L. Jackson all over New York City. I was watching the movie and I was like, I know where that is. Oh, I used to eat there. Oh, that's right by my job. Look at that. Oh, that store is still there. Ooh, that cafe is gone, gone, gone. So yeah, Die Hard 2 is definitely my favorite. Pulp Fiction, come on, man. Pulp Fiction. Now that is some funny moments that I can't say out loud because my daughter is in the next room. But Pulp Fiction, now
Yeah.
that's a funny Bruce Willis.
Yeah, yeah.
That is
yeah.
a funny Bruce Willis. But that was the first film that people really knew him from, right?
Well, you see, me,
Like that was his breaking
I
role,
think
right?
so. He's kind of like, no, that actually wasn't his breaking role. So if I can, Bruce, like you said, Bruce Willis got started, I don't know if you want to call it late in the game or like he was a grown man.
Mhm.
And it's funny because he got to start on television.
Oh.
And he was on a show called Moonlighting.
Oh, they just
Uh,
said that on another podcast. You are so right. Yes,
Yeah.
I totally forgot that.
Well, I'm a
till you
little
said it.
older. Yeah, sir.
Yeah,
I'm
the
a
people
little-
who
so I
said it are
I
like
was
in
a-
their late 40s.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember watching Moonlighting. It was so if you want to watch funny Bruce Willis, watch old episodes of Moonlighting.
Mm.
That's what really made him famous because he was hilarious in Moonlighting. It was,
Ah.
him. I forget the blonde woman's actor who he worked with. They had this like chemistry on screen that was like great, and it made Moonlighting like one of the #1 shows. And from
Okay.
there, he started doing movies. But I think what's even more interesting is how he got that role.
Mm.
So Bruce Willis was just like a bartender, right? He was just like some bartender, doing his thing. And I can't remember the reason, but for some reason he was like taking a trip to California. Maybe he's going to see some people, whatever. But while he was there, he decided to go for this role, right? But he's bartending. It's like that's what he does.
Right.
And he may have been doing some like other stuff. Maybe he's like the starving actor kind of thing. But he was like known for like the funny bartender at your local spot.
Right.
So he's in California and he sees this casting call for this show, and he's like,
Why not?
what the hell? Like, what do I have to lose?
Right.
And he goes in, and he's just being charming
Right.
and funny,
Just
and
being Bruce Willis.
just being who he is. Right? He's just being the cool ass bartender that he is.
Right.
The dude that you're just like, man, I like. This is the reason why I like going to this bar, man. This guy, I love this guy right here.
Right.
And so that's what he was kind of like known for in the bars that he worked in. And a lot of those good bartenders will hit different spots.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Make their money, and they have a reputation, and people will, just like a DJ or whatever, people will follow their
Absolutely.
bartender. Like,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? Like, oh, on Fridays you over there, well then that's where I'm going.
Yes.
You over there on Wednesdays, well I'm going there. And so if you come in as a bartender with your own like crowd, and this is no internet.
Oh yeah, no.
People didn't have grams, you didn't have followers. It was just by word of mouth, and he would just tell you, yeah, Tuesdays I work at so and so, and so you went there.
Right.
And so owners knew some of these good bartenders. You tried to get them because on your dead nights, you got an ultimate like 50 people coming in that you've never had.
Right.
So he was one of those type of cats where he's just like a cool bartender.
Mhm.
But back to the thing, it's like, yeah, he goes to California, he goes for this role, and the people really liked his charm. They really he's the kind of guy we want for this role.
Mhm.
And they rolled the dice on him. Like, okay, let's just, let's see how it is. They did the pilot.
Right.
Pilot went really well, and they ordered more shows of Moonlighting, and Moonlighting became one of the #1 shows.
Mm.
And then from there, it was like Die Hard and blah blah blah, and that's how he started coming up.
Right.
So yeah, he came from that, man.
Nice.
And once again, it's like, I think that's what's dope, because a lot of times people get older and they feel like, oh, it's too old for you. You're too old to do this. You too old to this. Like, nah, like, yo, do what you want to do. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
it.
So yeah, he was a grown man in his 30s,
Mhm.
getting towards his 40s, but it was like, yo, like, well, let me give it a shot. Who cares?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He just did it. He just
And
did
look
it. Oh, well.
look what happened.
He's a mega superstar. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ruled the 90s, yo.
Absolutely.
Like, he was all over in the 90s. Like,
Facts.
mad movies.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What's the yeah. My
And on
favorite.
record,
Oh, go
he still has the best, and I'm saying this wrong on purpose. He still has the best M. Night Shyamalan movie known to
ahead.
man.
Yeah.
Sixth Sense.
Which one is that? I was about to say, yeah.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense to me
still
is
the best
is
M. Night Shyamalan movie, and he
yeah.
probably got the second best one too with Unbreakable.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Unbreakable.
Come on, son.
Unbreakable is really good. Unbreakable is really so these yeah. So Sixth Sense I thought was really good. It was it you really don't know what's going on until the reveal. Really,
Right.
it's
At the
you
end,
kind of find in there. Yeah, towards the so I thought Sixth Sense was really good. Um, uh, what's the one where there's like a meteor coming to Earth and he's like part of that one too? I can't
Apollo
remember
13?
the name of it. No, that's Tom Hanks. Um, whatever, I can't remember.
It's not a movie with astronauts.
Yeah, it's a movie with astronauts and they have to go and destroy this like asteroid in space because it's going
So I'm getting my astronaut
completely
movies
to
confused.
yeah, and
I know what you're talking about. Though.
and yeah, but they have to go like destroy that. I like that movie.
Oh
I mean,
man,
just
12
ruled it.
Monkeys.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
12
Great
Monkeys.
movie
You
right
know, I gotta keep shouting out my guy. Nestor put me onto that movie one day out the random. He's like, "Hey, yeah, you seem to like Brad Pitt. Do you like Bruce Willis?" I'm like, "Yeah, who don't like Bruce Willis? Let's watch this movie called 12 Monkeys."
there.
It's like
Yeah,
that sounds weird, but all right, let's do it. It's like, yo, where has this movie been?
yeah, man.
12
Um,
Monkeys.
And you know what I liked about Unbreakable, which is kind of sometimes hard for an actor, is for them to almost not act. And that might sound weird, but it's like his character in Unbreakable is just like regular guy.
Yeah.
You know, people kind of walk over him in a sense. He's kind of invisible. He doesn't see himself as special in any way,
Right.
you know, except for his like son. Like everybody's kids thinks that their dad or their mom is super special, and it's
Right.
like his dad is like, no, his son, you're the best. You're this. And like, okay, son,
If you
calm
say
down.
so.
It's all right, you know, right? And so you could really see his range. Like he really just
Yeah.
really went down. He didn't have all this charm and Die Hard and stuff like
Nah.
that. You know, it's what Jamie Foxx had to do when he was with Tom Cruise.
Collateral.
In Collateral, right? It's like, you know, he was going for Collateral and he was telling the director, oh man, you know, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this, you know, I bring it. And the director was like, yeah, what I need you to do is not
bring it. Right.
like this dude is a taxi driver and he just goes about his business.
That's it.
He never really, you know, he has big dreams, but he never really does anything.
Right.
I need you to, can you be the guy to not bring it? Because this is not going to work if you're going to have like all this personality. Like
Right.
that's not going to work for this person. And Jamie Foxx was willing to do that. And you know, that's the same thing that I'm saying that Bruce Willis did with Unbreakable. Like Unbreakable's a dope movie.
Absolutely.
Because here's this superhero without
like,
all
yeah.
this like da 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 da, you know what I mean? He's
Right.
just like, okay, I got to do something about this. I gotta, I have to like meet this, you know, dangerous villain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just amazing, an amazing movie. So man, I can't say what my best one is, bro, but I would have to do 1 and 2, like the ones you just like Sixth Sense and Unbreakable is probably like the ones that
I was just saying that for M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. And the Die Hard movies is just like beautiful. You know what I mean? Like Die Hard to me, I'm part of this group where some people get upset, but Die Hard to me is like a Christmas movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like for me, it's not Christmas if I don't
Especially
have
the first
reruns of Die Hard.
2?
Yeah. The first 1 and 2, yes.
Yeah.
That's what's like really like, you know.
Wait a minute.
In the building.
I might be wrong. I think Die Hard 3 is the one with Samuel L. Jackson. Because number 1 is we all know number 1, but is it number 2 when he's in the airport right after trying to get home or something? And then it's like some Russians come and he just saves the day.
Yeah. So
So number
the
3 is the best one. That's Samuel L. Jackson.
number three, no. So number three is he's in New York and they're trying to blow up like Wall Street or some shit like
Yes,
that
with Samuel L.
to break
Jackson.
into the gold. Right. I think that's the third one.
Yes, that's what
Yeah.
I just said. Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
think
I
that's
know
the third
because
one.
a few minutes ago, I said number 2 is the best one with Samuel L. Jackson, but I'm completely wrong. It's number 3 with Samuel L.
Three that you
Jackson,
like,
not number
that you
2.
like. Yeah. I like all of them, man. Like I like the Die Hard
Oh
series,
no
the
no
one, two,
no!
and
I'm
three.
I'm not complaining
Yeah,
about him at all. I
yeah,
don't. I mean, after a
yeah.
while, it was like, all right, Die Hard with a Vengeance and all
Yeah, it's
those.
chill. It's
Die
like
Another
chill.
Day or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Like, all right, yeah, I
calm
gotta
down.
relax.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is when you start
after
destroying shit.
7 of these, it's like, okay, now you're in your Fast and
Right.
Furious, but
Right. I don't need Fast and Furious 15. Stop.
yeah,
It's
nah,
ridiculous at this
right.
point.
But no,
Right.
3 is my favorite. 3 is definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're classics. Like once I started watching them, I watched them all back to back. But I was
Yeah.
just saying, M Night Shyamalan, Lama Lama. He got a lot of movies. They're not all great. And I was saying like probably M Night's best movies were 2 Bruce
Yeah.
Willis movies. It was Unbreakable
Yeah.
and Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Because Sixth
And
Sense is still M Night Shyamalan's like claim to fame.
and even when he did the second sort of Unbreakable where he brought everybody back
That
and
shit
even like
sucked.
the kid is grown. You didn't like that? I did though. I did. I liked
Glass?
it. Glass, that's what it's
Glass
called.
was
Yeah.
horrible.
I loved it. I loved
Son, I actually
loved it.
just spoke about this on Let's Have a Real Conversation. So, because he got a new movie that just came out, M Night Shyamalan.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
nah, kid, like I can't mess with that guy. Glass is what was the icing on the cake for me. Like I was so excited because Split is so good.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, you bringing all 3 of them together on some big
Right.
brawl. All right, this is about to be super fly. And then it was like Glass, Samuel Jackson is the Sunday had like, I mean, you saw it. They was like in therapy and locked up in the crazy house. And then even by the time we
Yeah.
got to the big fight, it wasn't even all that. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, see, I didn't enjoy it for that reason. I enjoyed it for the messages they was saying. Even the first one, like Unbreakable. The messages that it was saying. I'm saying the fact that you had Samuel Jackson's character who was just like, well, I was born fucked up.
Right.
And I recognized that I was born fucked up. And so since that I was born fucked up, that means it got to be another dude who was born super strong. And he probably doesn't even know it. You know what I mean? And so it's like these sort of like weird takes on things. Because a lot of people are born with but for you to be like, well, if I'm born this way, I'm going to just like fuck things up until finally the
This
dude
other
is
person
revealed.
presents themselves.
It's like, what the hell is wrong with
I mean,
you?
it was cool
On
and
a mental
Unbreakable,
note.
but Glass
Yeah.
ain't do it for me. That was the
Yeah,
last
so
M Night anything I watched.
yeah. And Glass for me was just representatives of like institutional culture.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The fact that they put them in there and just like, well, we're just going to keep you and not really understand you, not really just like you're now going to be in this institution as products of the government and we're just going to lock you away, not really deal with anything.
Right.
And for me, that's what that kind of represented. It's like
Got it.
how governments sort of just like, just lock mofos away and just like keep them there. Like the whole terrorist thing with these cats on that island forever,
Right.
never being charged with anything. Just
Right.
like, well, let's just keep them
NDAA.
there and and just keep them there and like, not say anything. And because we gather them there, people will forget about them. And
Right.
that's just the way it is until something breaks out.
Mhm.
And when the monster cat kind of broke out, it was
Split.
just like, well, this is what y'all get. Yeah, Split. This is what y'all get. And he did a really good job in being
He's
that,
an amazing actor.
that person. Yeah. But anyway,
Professor X bodied it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
another movie where you see Bruce Willis's kind of range is 16th Precinct, I think it's called. Precinct 16.
Yeah, with
Him and
Mos
Mos Def.
Def. Yes.
That is a good
Yeah.
movie too,
That's
because you see
great.
like the
That's a
way they
great
kind of
movie.
play off of each other. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And
He's
just
like,
being like
I'm just trying to be a baker. Like,
right, right.
He's like, but
And
what
he has
else?
Bruce Willis has this great way of being this like average New York type kind of dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I will say as far as funny, he did a movie called The Last Boy Scout
Okay, I gotta check that
with
out.
Damian Wayans.
Okay,
With Damian Wayans. So this is high 90s. Damian Wayans is like the funniest cat, right? You know, and then Bruce Willis. And so when they take it's like the formula of Hollywood. You take the highest, you know, really
funny guy,
funny black comedian and you just put him with the
action,
highest paid actor and you do a cop type movie. But The Last Boy Scout is really, really good, and he's really funny in
Okay.
that. Like a lot of these,
I
like,
never
sort
even
of like
heard of this movie. I gotta check this out.
one-liners. Yeah. So there's one line I'll just say it because I think it's really funny. He Bruce Willis finds out he's a cop. He finds out that his partner is fucking his wife.
Okay,
Right? Maybe I shouldn't use that
that's
word.
fine.
You know, having sex.
I got
having sex
headphones
with
on.
his
My
wife.
daughter can't hear you.
And so they think that they're kind of like getting away with it, right? So he like drives off, whatever. Oh, I'm going to work. Kind of comes back around. The dude is in there. He breaks in, and you know, he's super cool about it. Like, not like this is cool, but he's not emotional at all. You know what I'm saying? And she's yelling and screaming, I did this because of you, you know, blaming him for it. I did this because, and I was lonely. He said, you was lonely? Get a dog. You know, just like whatever. and so he has his partner. He says, okay, Frank. You know, Frank is like, I'm sorry, man. You know, he's also, you know, he's like, that's all right. So where do you want it? You know, Frank is like, I guess the leg or something
Right.
like that, you know, and he just kind of like gives it to him, you know what I'm saying? Like punches him, like knocks him out, you know, because it's like, yo, like, you know what's got to happen, bro. You can't be hanging out with me being my
Right.
partner and, you know, banging my
Right.
wife. You got to get yours. And you saying, talk about you was lonely, get a dog.
Get a dog. That's the name of the episode.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Get a dog.
So, yeah, if you get a chance, man, watch Last Boy Scout. Damian Wayans and Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Pretty good.
Definitely gotta check that out. Sweet. So yeah, we just wanted to pay homage, you know, show some love to Bruce Willis on his way out, you know. So sad time, but we don't always have to end it sad. Sometimes celebrating is the best way to kind of remember people. So it's our little send off to Bruce. You know, much love to Bruce. Thank you for everything you've done, all the entertaining movies and good times and way to get us distracted from real life and everything that sucks about it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes that's what you need, you know what I'm saying? So thanks, Bruce. And listeners, watchers, viewers, as always, thanks for being here. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
Deuces.